What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome back to another video at Axe Entertainment. I'm your host, Zack Axe, bringing you who I think should and shouldn't win the 2026 Men's and Women's Royal Rumble. Now, how we're going to do this is I pick 7 people that I think genuinely could, or I think really should win the Rumble, and 7 that I think genuinely could but should not win the Royal Rumble for both. And we're going to talk a little bit about why I think they should or shouldn't, and then we're going to get into a little speed round where I just fire off some unlikely options that I think would be great and bad options. Let's get right into it with the Men's Royal Rumble. Now, starting with the men's, who I think should win the Royal Rumble is Sami Zayn. Now, this one's a really obvious pick. This is like one of the favorites to win the match, and it makes perfect sense. He's going to kind of have, a place where he has, flourished in the past in Saudi Arabia, and a place where I think makes perfect sense to give Sami Zayn the award of winning the Royal Rumble. But also, Sami Zayn has just always flirted with the main event scene, but never to be able to stay there very long. And I think that winning the Royal Rumble and getting to go to WrestleMania to fight for a championship and winning his first ever world title, becoming a Grand Slam champion at WrestleMania would be amazing for Sami Zayn. He's a guy that definitely deserves it. So I would love to see this happen. And I just think a match against Drew McIntyre would be absolutely great if Drew holds on to this title until Mania. Drew versus Sami at Mania, I think, would absolutely be an amazing match, whether it's the main event, whether it's not. I think it would be great, and giving Sami, like I said, his first title win at WrestleMania, first world title win, would be great. And for the first one that I think should not win the Men's Royal Rumble this year is going to be Roman Reigns. Now, it's funny because when you see people talk about this match, the 2 favorites to win the match is Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns. Now, I would love to see Sami win, but on the other hand, I do not want to see Roman win, simply for the fact that Roman just doesn't need it. Roman's a part-timer. If Brock Lesnar came back and won this Royal Rumble, we probably would be pretty upset because he's a part-timer. So I don't think that we should. I think we should share the same emotions towards Roman Reigns as we do Brock Lesnar, because Roman Reigns is not there either. But on top of that, I just don't think Roman Reigns needs it. I think Roman can get a championship match right now, tomorrow, the main event of WrestleMania, the main event of the Royal Rumble, the main event of any PLE, and no one's going to question it because it's Roman Reigns. So why would we have to use a Royal Rumble win on a guy like Roman Reigns when he can literally have a championship match whenever he wants and nobody's ever going to question it? So I just don't think he needs this. He's already won a Rumble in the past, so it's kind of like been there, done that. He has the accolade already. I don't think we need to make him a 2-time winner, and I don't think that he needs to be challenging for a championship through the Royal Rumble when he can do it anywhere else he wants. The second guy I think should win the Royal Rumble is Finn Balor. Now, this is a guy, I am recording this as of 1:20, who just lost his match against CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, Finn Balor needs to get a main event title run before his career is over. And I don't want to go the rest of Finn Balor's career looking at what could have been when he's always just getting pushed down and being a second-hand member of the Judgment Day. And I think the Judgment Day needs to break up sooner or later, and I think this is going to be a great opportunity to break up the Judgment Day. Have Finn Balor win the Royal Rumble, have maybe Dominic Mysterio make his return and get eliminated by Finn, or maybe have something happen to where the Judgment Day kind of just disperses. Make Finn a good guy. Have him be the demon, but have him be Finn Balor's demon. I don't want him to be WWE's demon, where, like he said on the Cody's podcast, he has to be, storyline orientated to come out. I want him to be able to just come out and be the mindset version of the demon. And WrestleMania, Demon Finn Balor versus Drew McIntyre, or even versus CM Punk again, I think would be great. Face or heel Finn Balor, honestly. I would love face more, but either one, I would love to see Finn Balor win the Rumble, and I really hope it happens. The second person for shouldn't is Brock Lesnar. Now, under my notes here, I just wrote no, which I know what that means, and you guys know what that means too. Brock should not be winning the Royal Rumble at this time, and I saw some, stuff floating around. Brock Lesnar will probably be in the Royal Rumble. Hopefully, if he is, he's just there to get eliminated by somebody like a Gunther or somebody that needs a push. But he does not need this. He's already a 2-time Royal Rumble winner. I don't want to see him fighting for a championship at all ever again for the rest of his career. So just no. Number 3 for somebody that should, though, is Obafemi. Obafemi is a great rising young star. If you haven't watched this guy, then you haven't watched any NXT, and he was absolutely amazing in NXT. This is a guy that you can push to the main event scene right away, kind of like a Brock Lesnar in 03, where you can just push him, or 02, whatever, where you can just push him right to the main event scene and just get away with it. You don't have to make it make sense. You can just make him win, make him look dominant, and get him there. And I think a Royal Rumble win is going to be a great vote of confidence for Obafemi coming up from NXT. He's looked dominant down there. I don't want him to, kind of get the main roster treatment of looking like amazing on NXT and crap on the main roster. So I think coming up, even if he just makes his debut in this match and wins it, I would love to see Obafemi walk away with this win. The next one that I think shouldn't is Damian Priest. Damian Priest is just one of those guys where I feel like he could win anything at any moment, so I'm just always nervous that he's going to win something. Damian Priest is great. I like him as a person, and I don't think he's the worst wrestler ever. I actually quite enjoy him sometimes, but there's also some times where I just think he's winning the wrong matches, like his match against Aleister Black, and I feel like this is going to be one of the matches where he's going to win the wrong one. There's a chance to give Damian Priest the win here, and I just do not want to see Damian Priest win the Royal Rumble. I don't want to see Damian Priest challenging for a world championship anytime soon. So yeah, just kind of, he could also get a title shot whenever he wants, I feel like, and nobody would question it too much after the pushing they've done for him. So I just don't want to see Damian Priest win the Rumble. Someone that should, though, somebody that Damian Priest knows quite well now, and that is Aleister Black. Aleister Black is a guy that needs this win more than ever, I think, because he kind of came in really, really hot. He looked amazing. He was looking like he was going to get a main event level push with his feud with Priest, and then he loses. Damian Priest is a main eventer through and through. Aleister Black is not at the moment. So if you want to have two main event level talents right here, what you should have done is had Aleister win, because Priest is not going to fall out of the main event scene just from that loss, and we have Aleister Black, who definitely could have really used that win. Plus, if you watch him on NXT, or if you watch him on the Indies, you know how actually good he is when he gets to wrestle to his full potential. I don't think he's been able to do that very much since he came back, but giving him a feud with somebody like either Drew McIntyre, or if Cody Rhodes was to win the championship back, Cody Rhodes again, or even CM Punk. There's so many great options for Aleister Black to put on an amazing match with at WrestleMania, and I think that he needs to be a world champion sometime in 2026. I'm done waiting. I'm done playing this waiting game for Aleister Black, where we're like, oh, he can do this. He'll get this eventually. Aleister Black needs to win any championship in 2026, or I honestly feel like we're just wasting completely more than we did back when he was there the first time. Now, this is going to be a hot take for me, but shouldn't Braun Breaker... I don't think Braun Breaker is ready. I know some people are like, oh my god, he's doing so good, and he's taking up the sport so easy, and I think Braun Breaker is great. I think he's getting better on the microphone. I think he's very fun to watch. But in terms of being the main event of WrestleMania in 2026, I just don't think he is ready for that. And I know Paul Heyman's saying it. I know everyone's hyping you up to believe it. But if you genuinely sit there and watch some of his matches, you can see that he's honestly not ready for it. He's doing great, and I think he's taking great strides. And I think in 2027, Braun Breaker can win the Rumble and go to the main event of WrestleMania and be fine. But I just think he needs like that one more year just to polish off some of his mic work, to polish off some of the stuff that he's not fully confident at, and then we can get him back there in 2026. He has plenty of time left. He's in his 20s. He has plenty of time left. We do not need to be giving him this award right now, when I feel like he has 10, 20 more Royal Rumbles where he can win. And right now, I could see them doing it, but I do not think he should be the Royal Rumble winner in 2026. And here's where the second part of the hot take comes in. Someone that should, I think, is Bronson Reed. And that is because Bronson Reed is better than Braun Breaker. And I don't mean that in a rude way. I don't mean that, in any type of other way, other than I just think Braun Breaker is not as completely fleshed out as Bronson Reed is. Bronson Reed is amazing on the microphone. They just don't let him get the microphone very often. Bronson Reed is great in the ring. I mean, he's not the best wrestler ever, but he knows how to put on one hell of a good match, and you very rarely see him mess up. And I think he had a really good gimmick going for him with the Tribal Thief, and then he's kind of had some shining character coming through the cracks of the Vision. And then they taped that freaking crack shut and said, no, this is Braun Breaker's group. Instead of being, after Stuck got kicked out, instead of being Braun and Bronson's group, this is Braun Breaker's group. When I think Bronson is the most ready out of anybody in the Vision to win a Rumble and main event of WrestleMania and break away from the Vision and become a huge star. Someone that shouldn't is Cody Rhodes. This is another one where I could just see it happening. I love Cody Rhodes, but I do not think Cody Rhodes needs to be a Royal Rumble winner for a third time, especially when his last two wins were in 23 and 24. I don't think we need to skip a year with Jey Uso and go into Cody Rhodes in 26. I would love to see somebody tie Stone Cold's record sooner or later. I don't think this is a record that's going to stand forever, but I just don't think giving it to Cody right now would be the best option. I think maybe if we get heel Cody sometime next year or the year after that, maybe then we'll have Cody Rhodes win his third Rumble and tie Steve Austin. But I don't think there's a reason or a rhyme right now to give Cody Rhodes the Royal Rumble win in 2026. Someone that should is Jacob Fatu. Now this one's pretty easy. Jacob Fatu is a main event level caliber star. He's finally starting to flirt with the main event scene, and he's just a guy that needs to be there sooner or later. We saw his match against LA Knight at last year's WrestleMania. I think this year's WrestleMania could be even bigger for Jacob Fatu if he is to win the Royal Rumble. I think he's getting good enough pops to where you can genuinely bring him into a feud as the babyface and be great, and he already has the seeds planted with Drew McIntyre right now, so Jacob Fatu, I think, is a great candidate. Back to the division for a second. Someone that should is actually the guy that's on my shirt, and that is Logan Paul. Logan Paul flirts with the Final Four of the Royal Rumble every year since he started going into the Royal Rumble, and I could see them doing it. Maybe not so much with the division, but I do not want to see Logan Paul win a Royal Rumble. I love Logan Paul. I'm wearing his freaking shirt, and I think that he's going to do great things in WWE on a full-time basis. But I just do not think that Logan Paul needs a Royal Rumble win at this moment, especially when he's as universally disliked, and not in a wrestling heel type of dislike. He's just universally disliked as he is. I don't know if that's ever going to get fixed, but I just don't think Logan Paul right now should be winning the Royal Rumble, but it looks like something that they could definitely do. And for the last one, for the men's, for should, I just threw out an option that completely out of left field. There's no hints towards it at all, but something I would love to see happen, and that is Uncle Howdy. I'd love to see Uncle Howdy win the Royal Rumble and go on kind of a Bray Wyatt-like run. I think the Wyatt Six being all stuck in this tag division is never going to work for these guys, and they're going to get very, very stale very, very fast if they're not already stale. So I think we need to break them off into different divisions, whether that's keeping Gacy and Loomis in the tag division, sending Rowan and Nikki to go for their respective mid-card titles, and have Uncle Howdy go for the main. Even if they're not necessarily winning the stuff, they should be at least challenging for the stuff. And I think giving Uncle Howdy a Royal Rumble win, I don't think anybody's going to really hate it. I can't think of anybody that's going to hate this. And I think it'd be better if he wrestled without the mask, personally. But even if he wrestles with the mask, I think it'll still be a great adventure, a great kind of out of left field pull if Uncle Howdy was to win the Royal Rumble and challenge for a world title at Mania and even pick one up. Last one for should is Solo Sikoa. I love Solo Sikoa. I think he's great. I think he's funny. I think he's putting on pretty good matches, pretty good mic work. But I just don't think he should win the Rumble. I could see him being an option to win the Rumble, and that's why I put him on here, but I just hope he doesn't. Speed round, I'm not going to give you any reasoning for these guys. I'm just going to tell you, and if you get mad at me for any of these, oh well. People that I don't think are going to win it, but I wouldn't mind if they did: Carmelo Hayes, Johnny Gargano, Austin Theory, Ilya Dragunov, AJ Styles, and Gunther before they had their match. Javon Evans, who now looks to be injured. Chad Gable if he was to come back. Trick Williams, Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho if he was to come back. Penta, and if LA Knight is fully cleared by the Royal Rumble, I think he is in my top 7, maybe pushing Uncle Howdy out, because LA Knight needs to win a Royal Rumble. And people that are kind of out of left field that I could see it happening, but I don't want it to happen, is Dominic Mysterio, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, Randy Orton, and Rusev. The Usos just don't think that they need this right now. Dominic Mysterio still needs some work in the mid card before he goes to the main event scene. Rusev, I just put him on here because I saw him. And Randy Orton, I think Randy Orton's a great candidate to beat the record, but go happy, RKO everybody. Randy Orton just isn't really the Randy Orton I'd want to see main eventing WrestleMania. Next up for the women's, number one that should for the women's is Roxanne Perez. She had a great showing in her first ever Rumble match last year, and I think it's just a matter of time before Roxanne breaks away and becomes a main eventer. I don't know if it's going to be this early, if she's another one where it's kind of like we could wait a couple years, we could wait 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and we'll be fine with Roxanne Perez. But if she is to win it this year, I think it'd be a great option. First up for shouldn't is Charlotte. No. Next up for should is AJ Lee. AJ Lee, I don't think is going to put on a phenomenal showing at the Rumble, and I don't think she's going to have a phenomenal WrestleMania match if she is to win the Rumble. But I think it's one of those awards where I think that she deserves it. She has earned the right through her tenure to be able to win an accomplishment that wasn't there when she left. And I think she would be a great candidate because we don't see a lot of the, I don't want to say older because she's not old, but like the wrestlers from back in the day. Winning awards like this, especially the Women's Royal Rumble, has been won by young up-and-coming stars every year, if you want to count Becky and Charlotte as those two. But I would love to see a blast from the past like AJ Lee be able to win the Rumble instead of all the blasts from the past just being there for a simple pop and then giving it to the newest commodity in the women's division. I think AJ Lee would be a great option, and I think she deserves to hold a women's championship for carrying women's wrestling on her back for all those years back in the day. When I say back in the day, I mean like 2010, 2012. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? That's 16 years ago. 16 years ago. Holy hell. My shouldn'ts are all pretty easy here. Shouldn't, you get a 2 for 1. Lost Legend, Nia Jax. They're both very boring options. I just don't see a reason to give them this accomplishment. I could see them doing it, but I just don't want to see that at all whatsoever. Next up for should is Alexa Bliss. Now Alexa Bliss always gets the pops that you want from her every single week. Alexa Bliss is always looking like an absolute $1,000,000. Even when she first came back, she was never looking rusty. She was always looking great, and she has never won the Women's Royal Rumble. She's kind of another one who has been there for quite a bit but never won the Women's Rumble, and I think her winning right here would be absolutely amazing. I think she deserves it, and I think this breaking her away from Charlotte would be great. I think a match with Stephanie and Valkyria would be great, but Jade Cargill not so much. So I guess we'll have to see going forward, but I would love to see Alexa Bliss win this match. Next up for shouldn't is Maxine Dupree. They're kind of pushing Maxine Dupree pretty hard right now, so I could definitely see them giving this award to her at this time. But I just don't think she's ready simply. I think her matches still need a lot more work getting done to them. And it looks like she's entering a feud with Natalya for some reason, so I don't think it's going to happen anyways. But I just think Maxine Dupree needs a little bit more work, and then she's another one that maybe in 3-4 years we revisit and see if she's ready then. Maybe even in 1 year. She has been excelling pretty fast. Should is Lyra Valkyria, one of my favorite women's wrestlers on the whole main roster, and she's stuck in a stupid tag team with Bayley right now. I'm sick of this tag team. It's not going anywhere. It's not working for either one of them, and we need Lyra to get back to form when she was fighting with the IC Championship or for the IC Championship, and Bayley is a main eventer if she doesn't have this goofy gimmick. So I think these two need to break up, and Lyra Valkyria winning the Royal Rumble was a great way to do it, and Bayley getting jealous, start a feud right there, have that feud end at Elimination Chamber or on the weeks leading up or after, and then have Lyra go into WrestleMania and win a main championship like she deserves, because she carried the Women's IC Championship on her back. Her and Becky are the only reasons that title even exists right now, and I think that she definitely 100% deserves this win, and they kind of mentioned it on Monday Night Raw, so maybe there's a chance. Shouldn't is Bianca Belair. I love Bianca Belair, and if she is ready to come back, I'm going to be super excited and pop for her when she gets back, but I just don't think her coming back this soon is really worthy of a Royal Rumble win. I think maybe if she does come back, whoever wins the Rumble should challenge Stephanie, and then we should have Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair for the Women's Championship at WrestleMania, so we can finally close off that feud that's been open for so many years. I'd be really excited if Bianca does come back. I just don't think this would be the right time to have her win. I'm still going to be excited. She's probably the one on here where I think she could easily flip to should for me. Maybe just seeing her come out, I'll just flip my entire attitude and be like, yes, because she's one of my favorites. I don't think that right now her coming back after a year hiatus is the right place to have her win the Rumble. Usually when people make returns at the Rumble, they should not be winning it. I'm just kidding. That was just a shot at Charlotte. 5 for should, and kind of the same reasons as I gave for Obafemi earlier, is going to be Sol Ruca. We don't even know if Sol Ruca is going to be challenging into this match, but this is one I'm kind of speaking into existence, and that is I hope Sol Ruca makes a debut, not even debut, goddamn. I hope Sol Ruca makes a surprise entrance at this year's Women's Royal Rumble, and I hope she picks up the dub, because she is my favorite on NXT. Maybe it's a little early for her. You could use the same argument I used for Breaker against me here and say, well, she has 5-10 years. Difference is I think Sol Ruca is completely ready. She's great on the microphone. She's amazing in the ring, probably the best women's wrestler on NXT. So coming up to the main roster and immediately winning the Rumble to go to WrestleMania and fight for a title, I think is an amazing strategy to push a young star, and I think Sol Ruca is the perfect star to be pushed from it. Another pretty easy shouldn't, I'm just going to give it to Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky. Rhea Ripley's kind of just a been there, done that, get a title shot tomorrow, we won't question it. And Io Sky would be more appealing to me, even though Rhea is, I like Rhea more than I like Io. I think it's a better option because Io's never won the Rumble, so having Io win, giving her this accomplishment versus Rhea giving her the same accomplishment she's already gotten, I think would be better. So if I had to pick one, I would pick Io, but I don't want either of them to win because they're both main events. They're both main eventers. They could both be in the WrestleMania main event without this award, so I'd like to see it to go to somebody else and not these two. Another pretty easy one, should, is Jordynne Grace. We see that they're kind of pushing Jordynne Grace early, and it looks like they're liking what they're seeing out of Jordynne Grace because they keep making her, go after Jade Cargill. So we already kind of were planting the seeds, whether that's going to end at the Rumble, that's going to end before Mania or whatever. We're planting the seeds here to where if she was to win the Rumble, she already has a ready feud for with Jade Cargill going into WrestleMania, and I think Jordynne Grace for Stephanie Valkyria is going to cook too if she was to pick that one. Another one where it's not really a young star, but more of a seasoned veteran that you just got, kind of like an AJ Styles in 2016. I think she would be a perfect option to win the Royal Rumble. Shouldn't is going to be Tiffany Stratton. I think Tiffany has plenty more years to win the Rumble, where there's more appealing WrestleMania options for her. But if we look at the WrestleMania outlay right now, options are either Stephanie Vauquer versus Tiffany, which we already got before, which was a great match, don't get me wrong, so I wouldn't mind running it back. But our other option is Jade versus Tiffany, which I do not want to see anytime soon. So it's just hers is more of the reason of the WrestleMania feuds aren't as appealing to me, versus she shouldn't actually win the Rumble. Last one for should is going to be Liv Morgan. This is everyone's favorite to win, and this one makes perfect sense. She's back from that injury where it looks like she was finally getting a push, and I think winning the Royal Rumble is perfect for Liv Morgan at this time. She's always in the final two, she's always in the final three, and she needs to be in the main event scene again. I really would love to see a universe where she wins the Royal Rumble and she challenges for Jade Cargill's title, or whoever has that title, and goes to SmackDown, leaving the Judgment Day in disarray. So kind of instead of a breaking up the Judgment Day, we have a leaving the Judgment Day to go to a different roster, and then the Judgment Day kind of gets all disoriented. And I could see a world that I definitely would not mind at all, where both Finn Balor and Liv Morgan win the Royal Rumbles, and we use that to slowly kick them out of the Judgment Day, kind of like they did to Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley all those years back. Another shouldn't, while we're on the topic of the Judgment Day, is Raquel Rodriguez. I am not a fan of Raquel Rodriguez at all. I don't know what it is. I thought I was gonna like her when she first came up, but I can't get behind her, and her attitude and her mic skills and everything. I just can't stand them. I'm not gonna lie. She's just like, ugh. Like every time she comes on my screen, I'm like, oh god, why is she fighting for the world title? I'm just gonna be honest. So, yeah, no, they're kind of pushing her right now. I hope they don't. No. Now here's a couple options for wouldn't hate it versus wouldn't love it. Out of left field, but I wouldn't hate it, would be Julia, JC Jane, Lola Vice, and Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella, another one of those options like AJ Lee, where I think that she would be a great option to give this award to, even though she, is an older commodity. And then wouldn't love it is going to be Asuka, Kairi Sane, Natalya, Michin, and BFAB for obvious reasons. I like Michin too on that list. I like Michin and Asuka and Kairi, but I really don't think any of those people have a great reason to win the Rumble right now. Anyways though, if you guys did enjoy the video, please leave a like on it. In the comments, leave that for me. Go ahead and subscribe while you're down there. Ring the bell if you want me to know if I have another video like this one. Subscribe to my TikTok at Axe Entertainment, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace! I probably just messed you guys up.
I am him, you are not, I am grim, you are lost, heating up, ovens hot, beating up all the frauds. You're a king, I'm a god, y'all got bling, I do not, cause I'm clean, y'all get clawed. On the top, y'all are frauds, at the top of my game, but still I get no fame. That's cause I would never pay for a fan to come my way.
Winning it at all, but I wouldn't, be mad, and people that I don't think have a shot at winning it at all, but I wouldn't love it. So let's get into the seven that I... What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Welcome back to the video Axe Entertainment. I'm your host, Zack Axe, bringing you who